Hey, what is up, everybody? I hope you're doing really well today. Today, I want to talk about the holographic nature of reality. So, when you think of reality, what do you think of? Reality is really an emotional experience, and it is also built out of your thoughts and your imagination, as well as there is the physical, hardened aspects of reality. So, when we think of reality and see it as a hologram, why would that even matter, and how is that useful to us in any type of way? So the reason that we see reality as a hologram is because reality on a physical level is a dense version of the same reality that is in our mind. And the reason that we see reality as a hologram is because we want to connect the interplay of our mind with our external surroundings and know that they do have a relationship. And the relationship is one of cause and effect. And it can be akin to your external reality is the effect and your mental reality is the cause. Now, many times we look at reality and we may think the exact opposite, right? This guy cut me off in traffic. He, caused me to get in this tizzy or whatever. Now I'm all bent out of shape because of X, X, and X, right? But reality is actually much more inverted than that. And this comes down to a psycho-spiritual level where if you understand that basically the human being exists on three different planes. The three different planes that the human being exists on are comprised of the spiritual level, which could be basically emotion, if you wanted to put it as emotion, right? Or a feeling sense, or an energy sense, or a presence. As if you have ever been in a house and your brother or your mom or your dad's in the other room, you feel that they're there, but you haven't maybe heard them do anything. You just kind of sense that they're there. That's because human beings are electromagnetic beings, and we have extrasensory perceptions around us that basically give us a field of awareness, right? It's like if you've ever seen the guy who's given the interview for baseball and, he's talking to the reporter and he just goes boom and catches the baseball as it's about to hit her. That's extrasensory perception. The baseball entered his field of awareness. He's so in tune with everything that's going on around him. He picked it up and his body acted before his mind could. So there's a spiritual level. There's a mental level, which is the mind, right? So that is, you can think thoughts, you can see mental movies, you can recall memories. And that is really a template that is pasted onto the spiritual vibratory electromagnetic field that we call reality. Now, when those two things are combined, right? Energy plus thought amplified with intention and with concentrated energy, that can form a physical reality. If you think about physical reality, it's much more dense than a thought in my mind. If I think of a bicycle versus touching a bicycle with my hands, there's a subtle dimension in my mind, which is a bicycle. It's still a bicycle. And there's a gross physicalized reality, which is something that I can touch with my five senses, which is a physical, gross bicycle, but is still a bicycle. So when we look at a holographic reality, we want to understand basically the interplay between all three of these dynamics in our reality and how to manipulate them for what we want, right? And the most important concept when understanding a holographic reality is to understand that everything is happening now. Even if you're thinking of the past, you're pulling up a mental frame of past things. If you're thinking about the future, you're pulling up a future tense frame in your mind, but you're doing it right now. And the reason that that's important is because if we want to see things and modulate our perception to change the reality favorably, we want to understand that everything's happening right now, because it is happening right now. There's no other time than the present. So when we look at holographic reality, the only thing that anybody ever wants is to be able to really shape their reality to be a designer reality. We want to be able to shape the hologram to be what we want it to be. We want to be able to shape the reality in a way that allows us for maximum creative control and allows us to basically architect the reality the way that we want it to be as opposed to the reality dictating to us how it is and how it should be. So by understanding that everything's a hologram and that everything goes from very subtle energies to very gross, we can invert the root of causation of the world from things outside of us basically dictating to us how things are, to what is internally dictating what is going on outside. So to go full circle back to my example of somebody cutting us off in traffic, right? Now we're all out of shape, The physical effects are essentially mirrors to what is happening internally. And you may not believe that at first, but if you really observe every single thing that happens to you in life, you will find that there is an emotional and a thought culprit behind its causation. And what that means is, have you ever felt like you woke up on the wrong side of the bed and you've been in a bad state and the rest of the day just takes the piss out of you, right? Like you're not doing good in the morning and you spill coffee on yourself and you do this, you do that, Now, was it the universe just decided one day to beat you up because it felt like it? No. It is a holographic mirror to what is going on internally. And what was going on internally was a chaotic state, right? So once we understand that and don't judge it, we just figure that what our state is going to produce reflections in the hologram. It makes life drastically easier because we don't go into the world of effects and try to change a bunch of things to kind of conform them to what we want it to be. We realize that everything externally is essentially an effect of what's happening internally, and it pushes our locus of control to a much more manageable internal locus, meaning that we're much more focused on the state that we're in. We're much more focused on the thoughts that we're thinking than we're worried about what is happening outside of us, because that's always just going to be a reflection of the more subtle dimensions within us, right? This is really good news because it allows us the ability to cultivate inner systems, to engineer inner systems that are exactly the way we want, knowing that the reverberations of those systems will be perfect matches externally. And what that means is that it allows us to basically go through life and we can see our ideal in our mind, we can charge it with emotion, and we can hold that frequency, and then we can let the external world reflect that in opposition to going outside of us and trying to make things happen and doing all of these things to make ourselves feel better, to try to, basically manipulate the world to achieve our goals. We can invert that power to understand that we are the causation of a lot of these different elements of our reality, and we can learn to discipline the internal aspects of our body in a way that allows us to really gain a massive amount of leverage in terms of being able to still manipulate our reality, but without a lot of extra legwork, because we know where it's coming from, if that makes sense. So understanding that the world is holographic in nature doesn't take any of the realness out of it, doesn't take any of the validity out of it, doesn't make it any less real than it is. It's just to really impress upon you that the holographic reality is responding to your internal state most of all, right? Like if I come in angry, I come in hot, right? I go into a coffee shop, I'm like, what's up? Ah! People are like, what is happening? Or if I come in and I'm crying, people are like, what's wrong? Those people aren't consciously deciding to act that way because they want to. They're 100% responding to the energetic state that I'm in. If I come up and act crazy, people are going to act crazy back. If I come up and act very polite, people are going to act polite back. If I come up angry, people are going to act angry back. The whole world is holographic in that it reflects the energy that you emit into it. And once that is really drilled into your mind, you go, oh my God, I can change that internal state and I can change it to whatever I want it to be. and I can push that out into the world, and I can get it back the way that I want it to. So I hope this was an interesting video. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys want more of this, or if you want any coaching, feel free to click on the link in the bio. I do like one-on-ones or emails, whatever you guys want. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, like and subscribe. Have a killer day.